Welcome to Monster Shop. Hey.
Hey, woo. It's us doing those things.
We are here.
We are.
It's been a strange weekend because we've both been doing different things this weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, we have at the same place.
Yeah,
similar. We've been to Silverstone. I'm a massive racing fan. I grew up racing, and you've been rocking out in the woods.
Yeah.
Which is what you do that every year, don't you? Pretty much.
Not for the last couple of years because it's been Timber Festival.
It clashes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Why do they put timber on at the same time as? I like both.
Yeah, there was that funny thing that happened that one year where we were at Timber.
Yeah,
and there was the F1 man there.
Sebastian Vettel turned up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I like Sebastian Vettel. He doesn't look like an F1 dude anymore. It's been a very exciting weekend as well because Ross Noble was at the Conkers Park Run as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Imagine how
comedian.
Yeah.
Imagine
how exotic that is. He's a park runner. I love favourite. It's been me. Barnaby is my 9-year-old, and it's his first time to an F1 race, and he's obsessed with it. Like you know that level of obsession you get when you're like 5 about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And you kind of, as you get older, you lose that a little bit. You kind of, and while you have to pay the mortgage and things, right? You don't get the time to really obsess. Well, he's obsessed about F1, like everything. You name, even going back to like the 80s, he knows everything, or every driver, absolutely everything. But he's never seen them. I'd never really seen anybody famous.
No.
And we get to the Formula One circuit and you start to see people on big screens, and then he was just absolutely overwhelmed with the whole thing, just totally. They're actual people. We saw Jenson Button. Yeah, he got his hat signed by Jenson Button, and honestly, he went to bed with a hat. He snuggled his Jenson Button hat. So thank you. Well, when you listen to this, Jenson, thank you, because he was. Barney's really quiet.
Yeah,
and it's not pushy at all. And like the other kids were kind of pushing to get the signature, and Barney didn't get in, and Jensen spotted that and like,
that's cool.
Yeah, and he was like, can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you? And he sort of gently handed his cap over, and Jensen was like, do you want me to sign that? And he said, yeah, please. And he was lovely.
Yeah,
and then. Yeah, I don't know. He was just really. Jensen was lovely, absolutely lovely guy, and Barney had a great time. And all the time, you that morning actually, I messaged you and you said, "I'm not feeling very well." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, you're not feeling well." And then I saw Mr. House. Yeah, he said he'd been up drinking whiskey all night.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was in that state where I wasn't sure whether I had a hangover or not.
I think you had.
I had a small one. Yeah.
Did you ever lie down?
Yeah, a little lie down. Yeah. We had a nap, which I thought, like, in the backstage bit in the green, there's like these leather sofas. Yeah, and me and one of the little lads were sort of in there. Yeah, we went, let's just get our heads down for a bit. I thought we were about 20 minutes, maybe like 25 minutes, and the guy said, "You two lads were flat out for like 2 hours."
Rock and roll. Yeah. Well, we were drenched. We were absolutely drenched at Silverstone. We got, like airfields. There's like a special type of weather that you get. So when the rain comes, it literally went up my nose, and you could just see Barney's face. He went, "What's going on? Why is this rain doing this thing?" And then the rain stops, and it's like being heated, like in a microwave. It's like you just get this intense heat, and it feels like your skin's going to melt off. And then the wind starts, then it rains again. So. But yeah, it's been a good weekend. Yeah. I'm very tired.
Yeah. And we thought, let's do this. It's Sunday night now, before the morning, and we thought, let's get together. We'll start a bit later. We'll get back home. We'll get chilled, and then we'll start at about 9. And we've been waffling for 2 hours.
Brilliant
so
idea.
It's getting there. It's getting towards 11:30 now. We've only just started.
The thing is, neither of you can stay up later than I can.
I'm a night owl.
Yeah, I'm a 9 o'clock. My eyes are rolling, and the thing is, I know in the morning, like 6 o'clock, I'll be up, and my body's going to be hiya, get up. Anyway, this is the Monster Shop.
It is, yeah.
And we're a podcast.
Yeah.
And we do
this incarnation is a good incarnation. I like this one.
You do that. Well, so every week we pick our album and we talk about it.
Yeah.
And this week we're doing Dookie from Green Day.
And it's funny when you said about Barnaby like having his obsession at the minute about F1, my obsession at around that 12, 13 years of age was this.
Was it?
Was Dookie, was Green Day. And the main reason for that was because I just started learning the guitar. I'd been playing a couple of years.
Yeah.
And this album came out, and I was into The Offspring first, and then then I heard this and was like, wow. And it's really strange. They almost like they made guitar-based rock kind of punky stuff accessible, not just for listening, but for playing.
Well, it was very niche before this.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. It's tempting. There's bands that wouldn't have existed, like so the Blink 182s, the Good Charlottes. I don't know, Sum 41. There's a whole bunch of bands. I kind of think Offspring and Green Day they kind of did it at the same time.
Yeah,
didn't they?
It was about that. Yeah,
but yeah, there were. I mean, I loved Smash.
Yeah.
And I love this too. I really love Dookie as well. But it's really weird for me. These albums, they're not albums. I listened to them at the time, but it's. I kind of just they just kind of went in the history of time, right? So they kind of I didn't really go back and listen to them. Very like the metal albums, I actually still go back and listen to. Right? But this one I didn't. But what happens is I'll hear a single from here, one of the like Basket Case or something, and it sends me straight back to it, and I kind of oh God, I'd forgotten how good that was. And I think there's a recurring theme when we talk about these albums. Like we did New Jersey, and both of us just sat here and I'd forgotten how good that album was. You'd completely forgotten. And this is the same for me. It's an album that I kind of think, it's kind of pop punky. And I forget the impact it had. So, like we talked about the Metallica Black Album kind of influencing metal afterwards.
It made it all right to do that kind of thing.
Well, the thing that hit me, I did a lot of reading about the making of this album and the band, and how it all kind of came together. And they were California, Berkeley. They were an absolute stalwart part of the punk community. They were punk rock band. They weren't pop punk. No, they were punk band.
And they had like a couple of EPs before, and then Kaplunk. So, and there was very much of that, very lo-fi, very kind of
it's bone dry production. And
I think the drummer was different.
Oh, was it?
I think the drummer was different on the bits before.
Oh, you're right. There was a change in drummer, but they were like a fully paid up members of the kind of local punk scene, and then they decided actually we want our music played on the radio, and so they started to think a little bit differently about how do we get that to happen. Is it Reprise Records? Got involved.
Because before it was Lookout. Lookout was like an indie. And then Reprise took them on.
Reprise was part of a big label.
It was an imprint, wasn't it?
There was like two big things happened. So A, they signed to a big label, and B, the label said, well, if you want to be played on the radio, it can't sound this bad. We need to do something with it, right? So in the mastering process, we'll talk about how it was recorded in a bit, but in the mastering, so the reverb was added in the mastering, which is really weird.
That is weird.
So it was recorded initially and engineered like bone dry, standard punk rock, sounds terrible, which is what it was meant to sound, a bit angry and terrible. And then the record company were like, the songs are great. It needs, we need to kind of make it sound a little bit more palatable. So in the mastering process, they kind of added a little bit of reverb, changed the tonality a little bit of what was recorded, which again, I mean, the look of horror on your face, I think they added reverb in mastering. It's really weird. And they did two things. One, it totally and utterly alienated them from the punk scene of which they came from, because they viewed them as sellouts. And said, look, you don't sound like a punk band anymore, and you've just signed to a big label. Punk, that's not punk. That's not punk rock. You are now, you're a pop band. We're not interested. So they were like almost banned from playing the local gigs and things that they'd like. That's what they'd done and started out with. But then they built this brand new audience who'd never heard punk before. And all of a sudden, someone had taken knocked the rough, nasty edges off punk, and then made it accessible. So they got this massive new audience. And
of course.
Because that's now popular. Then you've got not that The Offspring did it I think they were doing it at the same time. But then you had this glut of other bands that kind of thought, well, actually, if they're doing it, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So you had the Sum 41s and the Good Charlottes, and do you know what I mean? And then this kind of seen the Blink 182.
Yeah, this tidal wave of And obviously the industry saw records out, so they're going to empower it. They're going to invest in it.
But all from essentially. The punk spilling out, and somebody adding a bit of reverb to it.
But what you get on this record is standards. You get Basket Case, you get When I Come Around, you get Welcome to Paradise, you get She. These are the Great American Songbook of punk. They're punk rock. They're absolute standards in of the genre, and it's all on one album.
Well, let me go through the singles, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not long. It's not often that there's a table. We have in the blog. We have an accompanying blog that goes along with every show. And I did the blog last week. But there are
What's the website for the blog?
I can't remember.
Monstershop.uk.
Monstershop.uk. Yeah. Go there and there's a blog. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 singles.
Yes.
And I would argue, like Basket Case, Welcome to Paradise, When I Come Around, and She, and Longview actually, as well.
Longview,
I mean, the baseline intro for Longview is one bar of that, and everybody knows what's going on. Basket Case,
you have the time out of the set? It's there, and it's
Basket Case. People are born knowing the lyrics too. I remember being in a pub.
Basket Case are living on a prayer.
They are. But I remember being in a pub in like the mid 90s, like 95 probably, and this came on the jukebox. Because we had jukeboxes back then. Someone would have been and put their pound in and selected. And 3/4 of the pub was screaming this. It was that and Self-Esteem.
Do you know
of course, the Offspring?
I love playing that song. I play that.
Welcome to Paradise. Again, Welcome to Paradise was from Kaplunk.
And they redid it.
Re-recorded. Again, the bit that's fascinating about it is that change in tone. Phenomenal. When I Come Around. I mean,
But, going back to what I said earlier, these were all songs that not only could I listen to, I could pick up the guitar and play them. Because they were simple, they were power chords.
Right.
It was 1, 4, 5, 6 chords.
Yeah, the punk ethos was there. The thing that they did, and we were talking about this. I think we were going to have your mate Adam come on and talk to us about this. But when we were talking about it, the thing that hit me, I think, is something that he said to you, and you kind of relayed. But it was the fact that it's full of pop hooks. It's a punk rock album. With like some kind of pop. Tone and recording it's a little bit of that, but actually it's full of pop hooks. It's full of these really catchy choruses and it's just, I don't know, it's just such a phenomenal record. I think, and you can understand how it had such a big impact because technically it was so simple to reproduce. We had a little clip of them talking about how to get the sound, which we'll play quickly.
Should we do it now?
But the sound's really easy to get hold of. The chords are easy to play. And the pop hooks are just so catchy. It's just kind of, it's just perfection, really.
If there's one thing that you listen to on the Dookie record is like we would have, I would say it would be the Dookie sound that was in sort of the verses, but when we wanted more power, we turned it up and we're able to kind of throw something down. Like you can really hear it in a song like She, where the verse goes and then when it kicks into the chorus, that big heavy guitar with more distortion kind of comes right up the middle. So it's just trying to go from loud to louder.
So that was Billy Joe himself with the MXR kind of Dookie distortion pedal. So the original sound it's the Marshall sound, but it's the tube screamer at the front end to make it bite and to give it that plectrum kind of thing. And MXR obviously, with Billy created this kind of pedal that got the Dookie sound. That was kind of what that video,
the Dookie pedal.
Yeah.
It talks about the Ibanez Tube Screamer being used and the Marshall Plexi for the sound initially. But it's really cool, like hearing that sound. And the thing is, it's such a great marketing thing as well, because that's what the kids want. That's what kids want. You know, when I started to pick up the guitar, I didn't want to play the guitar. I want to sound like Jeff Hanneman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there's a song that you want to sound like. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff I wanted to play initially was Jim Root stuff from Slipknot, and I'm like, I don't want a million knobs. I want to make me sound like Slipknot button. You know what I mean? And that's and I'd have bought that in a heartbeat. You'd be like, just give me the thing. I want one thing, the Dookie button. Done. I think it's genius, really genius.
Yeah. And but it seems to be the thing now. You know, like if it's not pedals, it's profiles. You know, or you know, amp modeling or whatever.
It's a bit easier these days, I suppose, isn't it? Whereas I guess back then, it would have been.
But talking about the gear and all that sort of stuff, it was all really like most of these albums that we're talking about each week. There's a reason. I would call them like standard mics, you know, like so the AKG on the kick drum and the 57 on the snare.
Should we talk about that? Yeah, so it's AKG D112 for the kick, Shure SM57 for the snare, Neumann U87 on the overheads. Guitars were Shure SM57s and Sennheiser MD421s. Billy Joe's vocals, guess. Have a guess, go on.
U87.
Guessed again.
SM58.
SM7.
Oh, the SM7. The Michael. So Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's favourite microphone.
Yeah. And it's what the SM. What we're talking into now.
Yeah,
these are Shure SM7Bs.
Yeah,
these are kind of like modelled on that mic a little bit.
So I'm talking into Michael Jackson's microphone.
Yeah,
talk to the microphone.
Yeah.
Shamo. I love that. Who was that? Was that which comedy season?
Oh yeah, but you're not allowed, are you? He got told he was like cancelled and all that, wasn't he?
Oh, was he?
Yeah, for doing all that.
Oh, the first time I saw them doing the Michael Jackson sketches, I was just I don't think I could breathe. I was just on the floor. I just loved how they just like with no
just make stuff up. It's like
there was no basis behind any. They just made stuff up, and it was just like how. Well, what has to go on in your mind? And when they remember Craig David,
yeah.
When they Craig David, and they imagined he'd had a kestrel. Like, what? But we lapped it up. We were all like, oh yeah, of course, of course, yeah. But yeah, anyway, the mighty SM7 for vocals. Analog recording. The thing that blew my mind a little bit for this album was that the drums were recorded to click.
Yeah.
And that's not what you'd expect.
No, not in that kind of thing.
I think if you had a punk band in your studio and you'd started with your you'd have had a kick in the balls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine any punk band.
A click in the balls.
I just can't imagine you'd have had like positive response from that. And from what I read, it was all done at the request of the record company.
Yeah.
When they're basically saying you can't get played on the radio if your song wasn't recorded to click.
See, my first response to that is the punk one.
Yeah,
and I do like recording to click. So I like
just do one. Yeah,
but it's the someone telling you what to do thing.
But it was just the drums, apparently. So the drums were done to click.
Oh, did they not play live then? Because it's got a really live sound to it.
I don't know. But the description I read was about the drum recording being done to click, and then everything else being kind of layered on top.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a couple of guitar layers on things.
Yeah, it makes it sound pretty big, doesn't it? But yeah, I just thought it was really fascinating that for a punk band to do that, and then how difficult that would be for a punk drummer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they kind of speed up and slow down. Do you know what I mean? It's not punk is about that. It's about not being to click almost. It's it's meant to be a little bit wild. And I think I do think that actually part of the the appeal, the broad appeal for this record is because it was done to click. Because lots of my favorite records weren't done to click, and I think I tend to prefer stuff that wasn't.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff isn't particularly commercially. It just isn't that popular.
Yeah.
And I think this is. Do you know what I mean? And this this genre went on to become, this record almost underpinned an entire genre afterwards.
Yeah, of course,
And I think part of that is the production.
Yeah.
And it being a little bit, and it's quite polished.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a punk rock album, but it's polished.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Rob Cavallo, and I think he was kind of a name within punk production and this kind of American sound.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling that he continued with Green Day along their journey. So was their almost like their, I suppose at the time, fourth member. I know they've got a few people along now, but he was kind of like the extra member of the band, making records with them, and as his kind of skills grew, the band skills grew, and they've just got this developing kind of relationship. I'm not sure if it's still the case now, but I think
so.
Certainly for a long time, that was definitely the story.
I think that like I say, that message initially was, that the stuff they recorded in the studio was too dry. And because they recorded the whole record and then took it to the record company, and they were like, no. Do you know what I mean? It's just sounds terrible. It sounds like it's in a biscuit tin. You got to get this has got to get bigger.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if you listen to, we were listening to, what were we listening to earlier? Oh God, I want to say "Join the Army," but that's a Suicidal Tendency song. Anyway, we were listening to some 80s punk.
Yeah.
A couple of hours ago before we started the show, and it was bone dry. It was punk. In 80s punk was absolutely bone dry. No reverb, no click, out of time, and that was what punk was supposed to sound like. But this record took those songs, that structure, the lyrical content, if you like, the kind of that kind of venomous anger about the politics in the world, and then polished it a little bit and kind of made it safe for the radio, because punk wasn't being played on mainstream radio at that point.
No.
But it's I don't know. I think it's phenomenal. Really is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And who would have thought a record company? Because they're not renowned for this stuff. They're not normally good at this stuff.
No.
Record companies were people that said like Bohemian Rhapsody was too long and no one would like it.
Yeah.
They're not normally particularly good at this stuff. Even though that's their job. And like people you don't know, they're good at pop hits, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
And who would have thought that this would have ended up being essentially a pop hit?
But it's the same as the Nirvana thing, when we spoke about Nirvana a few times, and we were saying, they're basically like, they're really heavy, like pop songs. They're really simple, catchy pop songs with heavy guitars, and that's what this record is. It really is. I mean, I want to play FOD, which is like one of the sort of penultimate track on the album. Well, the one before the secret track, I think it is.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to play it was because you get this light and shade on it, and you're talking about the way it's recorded, and it's sounding a little bit lo-fi, but then kind of kicks into this big kind of rock sound. And I think this track does that the best. And going back to the idea of it being super like democratic in that you can listen to it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the first thing I did was I'd pick up the guitar and I'd
try and play
it and sing it and work it out, and that, and this was a song that I did that for as well.
Well, let's play FOD. Did you know this wasn't a single?
No.
Everyone thinks it was a single.
No. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I think it should. It's well, like most songs on this record, there's hooks all over it.
Yeah, it's huge. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Something's on my mind. It's been for quite some time. It's time I'm on to you. So where's the other face? The face I heard before. Your head trips, boring me. Let's do the bridge we torched 2,000 times before. This time we'll blast it all to hell. I've had this burning in my guts now for so long. My belly's aching now to say, stuck down in a rut of dislogic and spot, a side of you well hid. When it's all said and done, it's real and it's been fun, but was it all real fun? Let's do the bridge we torched 2,000 times before. This time we'll blast it all to hell. I've felt this burning in my guts now for so long. My belly's aching now to say. You're just a run. I can't explain it 'cause I think you suck. I'll take it right and telling you to fuck off and die. I've had this burning in my guts now for so long. My belly's aching now to say. I'm taking pleasure in the now sadness through you. So listen up, 'cause you might miss. You're just a bug. I can't explain it 'cause I think you suck. I'll take it right and tell it that I fuck off and die. Good night.
Banger.
Proper.
Banger.
Proper. What is your favourite single? Or is your favourite not one of it's well, they released almost all of it as a single, didn't they? But what's your favourite from Dookie? She.
Yeah.
July 5th, 1995.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. I'm reading it on my sheet. No. It's interesting. Inspired by a former girlfriend's feminist poetry, she is a short but searing punk ode to empowerment and independence.
Cool. Yeah.
Is that how it makes you feel?
No.
Powerful and independent.
Strong, independent woman.
Yes. Where's that from?
I don't know.
Is that a thing where she's looking in the mirror, isn't she? She says, "You are a strong and powerful woman."
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right.
And I can't remember where it's from.
No, I don't know. I just love playing it. I love playing it.
Is that kind of the thing for you, where it's the playing of it adds to the?
Yeah, I love it. Honestly. Yeah, when we did that Silverstone gig, because it's all like it's just big rock covers. You know,
I saw you showed me a video. It looks incredible,
and you know she was in there. It was
oh really?
We were kids. We were playing like these. Every now and then we'll just do a little thing together, you know. And
I thought you did basket. Do you basket case as well?
We used to, like years. It was just loads of Green Day and Oasis songs, really, like years ago. But
everyone loves Oasis. The thing is, everyone knows all the lyrics to it, don't they? I suppose they're the songs you need, right?
Yeah.
Bright Side.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the lyrics to that. Did you send me? What did you send me that? You sent me an article today.
The hen do.
The hen do. Someone accidentally played Bright Side near a hen do. But it was the bit that I lost. It was where it said they were pushing people. The hens were pushing people out of the way. One of the people got injured by a stiletto. Unfortunately, it went straight through. Oh God.
But yeah, that, you know, when we were kids, we were 13, 14, learning to play in a band together. And
yeah.
We were playing that.
Well, it's punk, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's simple music to play, but the pop hooks are just brilliant, and the lyrics, everyone knows the lyrics. So
and these were you know they're just like old mates, like old school mates or whatever. These were the lads I used to knock around with at that age, and you know we're 30 years down the line, and we're still having fun playing silly songs,
still mucking about with them. Talking of kind of the back in the day and the time, right? So the first album was 39 Smooth.
Yeah.
Sold 1 million copies.
Yeah. That was it was like a couple of EPs that glued together for the record.
Yeah, it was two. Yeah, and then Kaplunk.
Some good songs on that, actually.
1 million.
Right.
And then Dookie.
20
million copies. The thing that hit me with these guys, so like these days, Green Day are accepted as being this massive band.
Yeah. And one of the reasons we chose this album is because they're touring this at the minute, aren't they?
They are.
They're doing this like anniversary tour.
They're huge. Like, so some of the magazines that I used to write for, you can tell when a big band comes through because like the head of photography takes all the, she's like, I'm going to, this is this is important.
Yeah.
And when Green Day came into town, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Now, Insomniac came after only a year after Dookie.
Yeah. Good album, that is.
Only sold 2 million.
Really?
Nimrod 2 million. Warning 1 million.
Nimrod had good riddance on it.
Yeah, honestly. But then American Idiot 2004, 16 million.
Yeah, so get back up there. Yeah.
And then 21st Century Breakdown 4 million, and then Uno Dos Tres 1 million each.
Yeah.
Revolution Radio 1 million, and then Father of All Motherfuckers in 2020 500,000.
Really?
And it was just
American Idiot was a beast, wasn't it? When that
I just found it really, really interesting that essentially they stick out massively. So Dookie and American Idiot, I just massive. Like Leah, my eldest, he's 13. He loves American Idiot.
Yeah. I saw them on that tour.
Oh, did you?
Me and my friend Rich went. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, went to watch them at Milton Keynes at the Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And who was supporting?
I saw Metallica.
Jimmy Eat World and somebody else. And the thing about, I don't think we can do a podcast about Green Day without just saying what a front man. What a born entertainer that guy is. Just has, X thousands amount of people in the palm of his hand for 2 hours. You know what I mean? He is. That's a masterclass to watch him at work. He's a proper showman.
If you think about it, I mean, it's not like Slipknot where there's like 80 people on stage. Do you know what I mean? I suppose you've got to be.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You've got to entertain and engage people.
Yeah.
And he is he's just.
And my other favourite thing about Green Day is I don't know if this is a little bit of an urban myth.
Yeah.
But Billy Joe's got like a lad behind stage who does his pedals for him. So all he has to do is like rock out.
Yeah.
And if he wants it to go clean, there's someone back there doing pressing the button. And I just think that's awesome. That's
so
the
cool. Coolest thing ever.
We ain't got to worry about it, has he?
He
can put on a show. He can do his thing. Yeah.
Whatever. Just have a boy. It was a pedal boy. Job description.
I hope it's not an urban bit because that's the reality of my brain now. So
pedal boy. I also wanted to talk about some of their contemporaries. So The Offspring are a big one.
Yeah.
So the album Smash 94 sold 10 million.
That's half the amount. I mean, that was a big album, but it's strange that it's only half the amount.
It is. I think The Offspring. I think we'll definitely do an Offspring.
I think we'll probably have to do Smash, won't we? I think.
Yeah, we'll definitely do one at some point. But then Rancid 95.
Out Come the Wolves.
Yeah, Out Come the Wolves 1 million. Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction. 94 sold 1 million, and NoFX, who I really love that they did.
So Long and thanks for all the fish, shoes, whatever it is.
Punkin Drublic.
Oh, Punkin Drublic, that was that period.
94.
Right. That's good. I loved. See, all those bands I loved. That was what I was into.
Another 1 million. But it's just interesting the way that Dookie just dwarfed all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting when you go back and listen to these records, even Smash, the production is the bit that elevated Green Day for me.
Yeah,
it was the production was just that bit better.
Mm-hmm.
It was tailored for radio, rather than punk. I mean, it was not just punk, but it wasn't punk music for punk fans.
Yes,
this was music for radio.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where that's the difference between the 1 million hardcore punk fans in the world and the 20 million people. You've got 1 million punk fans who hated it. And then you've got like 20 million casual radio listeners who just
loved it.
Loved the lyrics and stuff like that. So I just thought it was really interesting to see the commercial impact of it. I really like the art as well. We haven't talked about the artwork.
Yeah,
yet, but, it's just a cool. It's a cool.
Yeah, it's a very iconic album cover, isn't it?
It is. It's just it's a cool album cover. I think just the way there's just tons of stuff going on, and similarly to those early Iron Maiden covers. I remember studying for my GCSEs when they were a thing, and listening to Iron Maiden and had like the Somewhere in Time Iron Maiden album cover, and it's got references to just all of the other albums and things. And I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was just really, really cool thing to see have like a I don't know, just like so much effort into an album cover. Do you know what I mean? So much stuff in there. And similar with this one, there's just so much stuff happening in there. It was done by a guy called Richie Butcher, who was an underground artist.
Yeah, and they commissioned him specifically for it, didn't
they? Yeah, exactly. They already liked his work, so the band really liked his work, and got him to do it. They wanted a slightly apocalyptic cityscape. To do it, but that kind of cartoonish element, and then the details, the bomb on there that's kind of exploding, and then there is references to the band in there as well. I just thought it's one of those albums that like the resurgence of vinyl. I'm convinced a large part of it is to do with that you kind of sit with it.
Yeah,
you take the vinyl out and you put it on, and it pops and crackles a bit while it's whizzing round, and then you just kind of sit in there with this thing in your hand, and it just invites you to go, do you know what I mean?
And explore it,
because it's quite big, and you can kind of, you're starting to look at it and think, I wonder what that is, while the music's, popping and crackling in the background, and so.
Yeah, so it's like a very multi-sensory experience, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, and I don't know. Artwork on albums does a different thing now. It needs to pop off a Spotify page.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny little thumbnail.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day here, it would have been in a record shop, so it would have been quite a big thing. So the detail and intricacy, worked.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you see on a thumbnail on your screen, it's not going to have the same kind of impact.
Not quite the same. This one works in both, though, I think.
Yes.
I think, this one works for both. But yeah, it's a super cool album cover.
And the thing I like about the album the most, actually, is the thing where, because my experience of listening to this was either on a Walkman or in a tape in the car. So you don't skip any songs, you just listen to it all the way through. And you get through side A, you flip it over, you got side B, you flip it over again, you got side A again, you flip it over again. And so it becomes this very cyclic sort of listening experience.
You listen to it in order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can't change. You're too scared to change it in case your tape gets chewed up.
And you got to get the pencil out.
Got to get the pencil. One of the things that we do in the blogs is that I do 5 things you might not know about Dookie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the 5 things.
Go for it.
The working title. So originally, as they were working on the album, it was called Liquid Dookie. And apparently,
Dookie's poo in it.
And apparently, it all came from a gastrointestinal distress experienced on tour.
Is that true?
That's where it came from, apparently. And there's the track In the End features backing vocals by Billie Joe Armstrong's girlfriend at the time. Adrienne Nessa.
And I think they're now married.
Yeah.
Her
contributions remain uncredited in the album's liner notes, so she got no credit for that.
Yeah, any credit? That's not very nice, is it?
No.
That was a label decision.
Yeah, probably. In the song Longview, Billie Joe Armstrong's lyrics include the word masturbation.
Yes.
When playing live, the band will cheekily swap the word with procrastination.
Oh.
Because it sounds similar.
Yes.
And you're allowed to say that. And then the Grammy winner, so Dookie won the Grammy Award for Best Alternative Music in 1995, marking significant milestone for Green Day's career and bringing punk rock into a wider recognition. But yeah, it's bonkers, I think, kind of a punk band winning Grammys.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't, just shows you how big a leap that made. I think it's just... yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the album cover, the fifth one. So the album cover, we just talked about it quickly, but it's done by Richie Butcher. There's loads of stuff in there as you kind of look at it, but lots of it is about inside jokes.
Okay,
between
right.
the band. There's tons of things in there that are kind of they're traceable to things that have happened to them on tour or like jokes they had between themselves. So
that's very cool.
They are my five things you didn't know. I also want to talk about Jason White.
Who is Jason White?
Jason White was the touring guitarist.
Oh, okay.
And then officially became a member in 2012.
See, he's totally uncredited on most things, isn't he?
Yeah. So he was the touring guitarist. His inclusion was met with enthusiasm, apparently. Obviously, people who knew him and from touring. But yeah, he'd been a part of the band live. So if you went go and see the band, obviously, you're in a studio. You would layer the guitars. You would play them multiple times. And the live sound, that's a bit harder to do. So he used to come and do that, but he's officially part of the band now. And that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes we talk about lineup changes changing a band's ethos. You know, when a key member changes, or like in the Wild Hearts, for example, at the moment. Ginger, we're going to have to do a Wild Hearts album. Earth First is probably.
Yeah.
But the Wild Hearts is literally Ginger Wildheart.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
And I saw him talking to somebody about the band this week on Twitter, saying it's my band.
Yeah.
My band, my sound. I own the Wild Hearts. I am the Wild Hearts.
Yeah.
Why can't I not just go and hire a couple of guitarists and a drummer?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Still the Wild Hearts. It's me. I'm the Wild Hearts. But then, you have other bands that change style radically when one member changes. So, but in this case, I think adding Jason, it's all good.
Yeah, adds to it.
Been playing with them live for ages anyway.
One thing I do want to do was to sort of, if we talk about the lineup, is listen to the character of each performer.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you kind of when you hear Green Day, like when you hear a band and you hear the band, in Green Day, in my opinion, you can really hear the attitude of the three different players.
I love the bass. I know it's probably not the most exotic on all the bass players. But it's rubbish. But I love the bass.
There's something about it.
I love the bass line through the whole record. I think it's just phenomenal, and the tone as well.
Yeah, exactly. That he's got a very driven pick kind of rock sound. I wanted to play a bit of Longview because I just think it's such an iconic line.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so that was the bit off Longview of Mike Dirnt playing that, and then Trey Cool for me is the kind of just as basket case kicks. Is that bit for me really personifies his character as a drummer, I think I'm cracking up, and am I just paranoid? Am I just up? I went to a shrink. And then for Billy Joe, for the vocal and the kind of guitar delivery, actually for me, it's the opening track.
Oh, okay.
The way that comes in, yeah. I declare
I don't care no more. I'm running up and out and growing bored in my smoked out boring room. My hair is shaking in my eyes, dragging my feet to hit the streets at night. Drive along this shit town lights. I'm not growing up, I'm just getting down. And I stepped in line to walk amongst the dead.
Yeah, just the way he phrases it, his pronunciation of words, it's just he's got his own thing going on.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
The video for Longview.
Yeah.
It looks like it was recorded in an apartment.
Yeah.
And it was theirs. It was kind of their,
really?
Yeah, their place. The bit that's fascinating at that time, reading people that worked with them, the determination to succeed was phenomenal.
Right. Yeah.
So that punk ethos of we'll turn up and just wing it kind of thing, which is what a lot of the punk bands would do. They would they thrived in that live. That was what made punk. It was kind of you go and do these things in kind of seedy places, and you go turn up there and play. Doesn't matter whether you're in tune necessarily. It's the attitude that you're kind of giving. There was a radical difference with these guys where actually they were incredible players. All of them were incredible players. And when they went to record the album, they were all absolutely spot on. It was absolutely machinery as they went in, and they were absolutely precise and able to go and record really well. But I think it kind of marked them apart from a lot of their peers in the area that they kind of were playing in at the time.
Well, we're at 45 minutes.
What shall we do next?
Next album? Oh, I don't know. We speak about Smash a lot, don't we?
We do, yeah.
I wonder if we should do Smash.
We should do something. I want to do something really.
You want a heavy one now?
I do. I want to go and do something.
Why don't we do a Slipknot one?
Slipknot one. I maybe Entombed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go to like a dark one.
Yeah, go and do something dark and heavy. Dark Swedish death. Yeah. I love all that. Something from Napalm Death. Definitely going to do. I mean, we need to get down a dark, heavy rabbit hole, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah. Or I was tempted maybe look at something really old, go down to Black Sabbath.
Oh, that's not a bad shout.
We haven't done anything like that, but we've not done anything like kind of our roots were always in that kind of dark, heavy stuff, and we've not done anything like that yet. So that might be quite fun to do.
Yeah.
The thing is, whenever we start to think about this, you just the list just really quick gets longer and longer. I would encourage everybody to, if you see us on Twitter, we're Monster Shop Rock on Twitter. It's X now. Yeah. Musk will cancel us for saying Twitter probably. So we're embracing that a little bit at the moment. So we've got 2 social media platforms we know how to use now. So we are awesome.
And a Discord server.
We've got a Discord. If you go to monstershop.uk, you'll find links to the blog and the Discord and stuff on there. So join us and we talk about this kind of stuff. Let us know what you think on the Twitter, especially. What you think we should do next?
Be nice to know.
Be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, because I think we just get really carried away, don't we? You kind of go, I could do this, could do that. I want to do Back in Black.
Yeah.
I've got that on vinyl and
yellow.
And
is it yellow?
It's gold. Yellow. Who'd have a yellow? Stupid. It's gold. And I've got all kinds of lovely vinyl at the minute. I've got, the thing I've been listening to a lot of the last couple of weeks is the Struts, Pretty Vicious.
Oh, so yeah.
Purple.
That's what they talk about production on, isn't it? Wow.
Purple vinyl.
Purple vinyl.
Purple vinyl. It's lovely, that is. But yeah, no, we need to pick something for next week. God. Do you know what we're going to do? Let's do a quiz.
Yeah.
We haven't done a quiz for ages.
Yeah.
So we'll decide tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a quiz and we'll see the last time we did a quiz.
2 minutes?
For you lot. Yeah, 2 minutes. I thought that was really hard. That was the Pantera one.
Yeah.
It was The
2
Exorcist.
minutes, someone got it.
Yeah, The Exorcist thing. And it was full good display of power.
Yeah.
2 minutes. I know that. I'm like, just how do you lot are all too clever. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yep.
And we'll see you next. Oh yeah, check out. Yeah, we've done that. Check out the blog.
Yep.
Check out the socials.
Yep.
Please subscribe to us if you're listening to us on the podcasty thing. Please follow us and subscribe us. It lets the algorithm know that we're not useless, and it shows it to other people. And that would be brilliant. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.